Today, Natesh Magye and Sundari Magye are going to do the invocation. Please start whenever you are ready.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Mangalacharanam Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhaktapriyam Sakalaloka Namaskritam Cha Traigunya Ajam Vibhumadhyamisham Vande Bhavagnam Amarasura Siddhavandyam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you. It was very nice invocation. First, I want to welcome everybody and also wish everybody a happy, healthy, happy New Year with your family and friends. Let 2023 bring only the happiness and health to everyone. Okay. Namaskar. Okay.
Automatic awareness.
Now, we are continuing the story of Mahabharata. We are in Aranya Parva now. Sage Bruhadashwa is telling the stories of different sages and different issues to Pandavas. And we heard the story of Sagara and Bhagiratha and the Bhagiratha Prayatna and how he brought Ganga from heaven to earth. One point I did not mention there in the last class was because Ganga was brought from heaven by Bhagiratha, her name is also Bhagirathi. So Ganga Nadi is also called Bhagirathi river. Now from the Bhagiratha, the dynasty continues with later Raghu, famous kings, then Aja, then Dasharatha. Dasharatha means, as many of you may know, Dasha means 10. In all 10 directions, he could take his chariot, meaning northeast, west, south, and northeast, northwest, north, southeast, southwest. Those are the 8 directions, plus heaven and Patala, all the way in the bottom. That's how the capability was for Dasharatha. And sometimes Indra used to ask for the assistance of Dasharatha in the war against demons. That's how strong Dasharatha was. As you all know, then after Dasharatha, Sri Rama comes in and sage Bruhadashwa tells the whole story of Ramayana to Pandavas. Of course, we are not going to go to that story now today because it will be another 2.5 years. So we will not go there. And they continue the story with different people. Like some vratas they talk about, like Ekadasha Vrata. I think we talked about the Ekadasha Vrata already, about the Rukmangada story and Dharmangada story. I think we talked about in the first 3 or 4 classes. Okay, we talked about it, so we don't go through that. If somebody is still interested, they can call me. I will be able to explain the story of Dharmangada and Rukmangada. If some of you may know, Rukmangadananta Vratavananarya in Kannada, the Bhimsen Joshi has sung that song, and it was very well sung. I think in our discourse here, Srimati Geeta Dattatri sang that song, I believe, and she sang it well. Thank you. Now, then Agastya continues the story of some other sages. I think some may be interesting. He tells the story of Agastya Mahamuni. Agastya is a great sage. He's one of the Saptarishis. And he was not yet married. He was once walking around and he saw 3 people in a ditch hanging down in a dry well. He went and asked, who are you and why are you like this in this position? You look like scholars, what's going on? They say, look, we are the parents, grandparents of Agastya, and he is not married yet, and we do not have any mukti unless he gets the children. He says, I am that culprit, so I will marry somebody, and then I will get you the mukti. Then he thinks as whom he should marry. From his divya drishti, or his special eyes or sight, he thinks that it was a king, and he had a daughter by name Lopamudre. And she goes to that king and asks, look, I want to marry your daughter. You know, at that time, sages are all very, very well respected. And nobody wants to go against the word of a sage. At the same time, the king and the queen are thinking, look, this guy is an old man. And my daughter is hardly teens, in the 18, 19 years of age. How can she be serving him in this age? And particularly going into the woods and forest and taking care of them. So they try a plan to avoid this wedding. At that time, it was customary to give the reverse dowry, meaning Vadhu Dakshina. And the king says, look, my daughter has to be cared for, okay? And you should have certain amount of money. You don't have anything there, and she should be cared for. So you should find some money for it. Like what? She says, say, I don't know what the number is, say 100,000 gold coins or whatever. Then Agastya says, okay, I will fetch it and then bring it to you. Then the story goes on to say, he goes by the name, I forgot the names of the different countries or the neighboring states that he goes, and asks the kings to give that amount of money. All of them, one of them says, look, I'll be more than happy to give you, take it, okay, here it is. Then he says, no, it should be done by Rujumarga, meaning you should not be taxing your citizens too much. So it will not be bearable for them. If you give me this, let me go and see, have to look at your accountant. So the treasury guy has to come and explain both the income and the expenditure for the previous year. Like OMB, Office of Management and Budget here, how they do the audit for each section, like that. Then he looks at that and says, look, at this time, your income and expenditure is almost equal. So if you give me the money, you will have to tax the citizens more. And that is not Rujumarga. I don't want your money. So he goes to the next kingdom. There also the same story. There, the income is just a little bit more, maybe about small coins, I guess. He says, no, it will not be enough for me. Then he goes to other one. Then there the expenditure is a little more than the income. Like this, he goes to about 5 or 6 things, and then nothing happens. Then he comes to a place which is called Ilvala's kingdom. Ilvala and some of you may know, Ilvala and Vatapi are brothers and they are demons. And what they were doing was, Vatapi could take any form. He generally would take the form of a goat. And Ilvala would invite Brahmins for ceremonies, feast or whatever, to his palace and feed them with Vatapi's meat or muscle. And after they are satisfied with eating, Ilvala would send Vatapi, come over. Then Vatapi would come out of the stomach or abdomen of the Brahmins who had eaten that meat. Then the Brahmins would die. Those demons would eat the Brahmins' flesh, and whatever the property they had, they were accumulating. Like this, Ilvala for over many years, he had accumulated a lot of money. Then Agastya wants to go and say, look, I want to see what this guy is doing. Several Brahmins cautioned him, don't go there. If you go there, you will not come back. Any Brahmin that has gone there has never come back. So we are cautioning you. Agastya looks them through his special eyes and sees what has happened in the past. Okay, we have to teach them a lesson and we have to do some Loka Kalyana here. Agastya says, okay, I will go. Agastya goes there to Ilvala's palace. Ilvala offers food for him, kills Vatapi, and Vatapi is served to Agastya. Agastya eats the meat, and then Ilvala is telling Vatapi, come over. Just at that time, Agastya says, Vatapi jirno bhava. Get you be digested. And Ilvala is shouting, Vatapi, come over, come over. At that time, I'm not saying this, Mahabharata is saying this. Apparently, like a big thunderbolt, Agastya laid a big fart. That is the passing of Ilvala's thing. Ilvala was completely digested. Then he says, look, Ilvala, your brother is no more. Okay? You have done all the illegal things so far here and killed so many people, and you do not deserve to be died. You don't deserve to be alive. So he burns him with his eyes, with his eyesight. So now Ilvala is gone. So now whatever the Ilvala's property had, now Agastya got it. So now he takes that money and goes back to the king with the money and says, look, here is your Kanya Shulka. You can have the Shulka, and I want to marry Lopamudra. Okay, so the king had no choice. And Lopamudra marries sage Agastya and goes into the forest, and she loves the forest and the woods, and she tells her parents, look, the outside body of an old man, it may stay there and it will go away. Even if I marry a young man, it will go away in a matter of years. But whereas in Agastya, the knowledge and the brightness and the efficiency that he has, it will never go away. So I will be marrying him for that reason. So Lopamudra voluntarily marries Agastya and goes into it. That's one story of Agastya. And also it is said, Indra, when he was trying to defeat the demons, they were hiding under the sea water. So Indra requests Agastya for help. Agastya takes Aposhna, from one palm, he takes the whole sea into his mouth and he drinks. So in that way, the whole ocean is dried. So Indra can go and fight the demons and kill them there, who are hiding under the sea. So that's one story for him. Then the other story is Ishvara and Parvati. They got married. They got married in the north, in the Himalayas. So because of such a great, huge, sacred wedding, all the Satpurushas went to the north. So it is said that there was imbalance between north and south because north became so heavy. So Lord Shiva came to Agastya and told him, look, you have to go south. Only you can balance the imbalance between this sattva and asattva. So because everybody is on the Rujatva or on the north, and you have to go to the south. Agastya says, okay, I will go. And Agastya says, look, because there is so much of drought in the south, we need to help them with water. Please give me Ganga. So Lord Shiva takes one hairlock and small amount of Ganga comes out. And then he puts that one in a Kamandala and gives to Agastya, look, you take it down to the south, wherever you want to, you can leave it there. And then it will become the river and then Ganga will flow there. So Agastya takes that and he is coming down south. As he is coming down south, there is another story that comes, he pops it in between. Vindhya Parvata, Vindhya mountain, is growing taller and taller and taller. It is said that because Vindhya grew so tall, it became like an obstruction for sun and the moon to go around. It was difficult for them to go around. So sun and the moon came to Agastya and said, look, you have to do something as you are going south. Okay, I will take care of it. So Agastya is coming down south, and Vindhya mountain, he recognizes Agastya. He knows Agastya is a great sage. So he bows him in prostration. Dirghada Namaskara he does. When he is prostrating, Agastya says, look, young man, you are growing tall and tall. And if you grow anymore, it becomes very difficult for me to come back here again. If I come back here again, if you are growing like this, it will be a great obstruction for me. I cannot go north. Otherwise, I'm getting old. So you stay in this position until I come back. Agastya goes down south and he never returns to the north. So Vindhya is in the prostrating position. So that's how now Vindhya is down. He is not growing anymore. That's the story of Vindhya. Now let's take what happens with this Ganga and what have you. Now sage Agastya is carrying the Kamandala, which Lord Shiva has given, and he is going in south. It so happens there is one demon, let's look at the name of that, Surapaduman demon. He does not want the south to become prosperous. He wants people to suffer because he's a demon. So he wants to snatch that Kamandala and take it away and pour it in the ocean. So he's watching for sage Agastya to see what's the best opportunity. This one is being observed by Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha says, look, I should do something here. If I don't do something here, this demon is going to, destroy the whole plan of Agastya, and the Ganga will not be in the south. So I have to do something. So he takes the form of a crow or a raven and starts bothering sage Agastya. Can you imagine sage Agastya is holding thing like this, the Kamandala, and then walking around, and he sits at one place and keeps the Kamandala there. And then as the crow is coming, he's trying to hush it and hush it out. As it's coming out, hush it out, the crow or the raven spills the Kamandala. That place is near Talakaveri in Coorg district in Karnataka. That's where Kaveri starts flowing. Ganga from the north, from the Jeta of Lord Shiva, came by Kamandala with Agastya Mahamuni, and near Talakaveri, that was spilled by Lord Ganesha, and it flew like the water. Now, this demon couldn't do anything. So I will move to the side. You can see the picture of sage Agastya doing some penance or doing some arghya or whatever. At that time, the crow or the raven is spilling the water. Okay, everyone got a glimpse of it, I hope. Okay. Then that is the story of sage Agastya. Then sage Bruhadashwa continues. As you remember, Dhowya Rishi, he is the Kula Purohita or the Raja Purohita for Pandavas now, and he is there in Aranya or in the forest with Pandavas. And he's also listening to all the stories. Now, Bruhadashwa is looking at Pandavas and also this Dhowya and tells Dharmaraya, look, don't underestimate this Dhowya. He's a great sage. You know the story of their students, what they have done, how that is? Then Dharmaraya is very curious. He asks, look, tell me the story of Dhowya. Then Bruhadashwa continues to say the story. Look, Dhowya is a great sage. He had three main disciples. One is Aruni or Aruni, A-R-U-N-I, so however you pronounce it, Aruni. Second one is Veda. The third one is Upamanyu. These are the three Shishyas or the disciples of Dhowya. And as you know, when they go to learn Vedas and other things with the Guru, they have to do the Guru Seva there. You have to go to their ashrama and do the whatever the Guru says, you have to keep on doing. And you cannot ask, oh, you teach me now, oh, this is the time to teach, this is a subject you teach, and you cannot ask anything there. Whenever the Guru feels that he wants to teach you anything, that's what he teaches you, and you learn. Here there are three disciples are there. First one we will talk about Aruni or Aruni. Dhowya tells, look, you have to do some job for me. We have some fields there, and there is a canal that needs to be dug. And you dig the canal from a river and let it come to my field and protect. So Aruni goes and starts digging a channel from the river to the sage's fields. Then, as he's doing it, he puts like a small dam there. There's a small dam there. So the water is behind into the fields. And one morning when he goes there, he notices that there is a breach in the little small dam, earthen dam. Meaning there is a leak. Water is going away from the field away. So now he doesn't want that to happen. He tries to put some rocks or some mud and what have you. No, nothing will stop. So what he does is he goes himself as a dam, meaning like a barrier. So he stood there and he laid a flat against the breach that had happened in the dam. He stayed there for several hours. And the Shishya did not come to the ashrama in the evening. So now Dhowya is concerned. So he goes with his other disciples to go, look, where is Aruni? Aruni, come on, where are you? Where are you? Then he says, I'm here, I'm here. So in the voice, that his feeble voice, he's telling. Then Dhowya goes there and looks at him. Look, what are you doing here? What are you laying down? Then he says, look, this is what has happened. And so I wanted to protect your fields, and then I did this. So which Dhowya recognized his Shraddha and the way that he did it, for the sacrifice he did. He said, okay, come out. You come out. And as he came out, some other people came and somehow they fixed the dam and the fix was okay. Now, this Aruni, this one maybe many of you may not know. Then the Dhowya calls him Uddhaka. From that day on, he is called Uddhaka, meaning getting up from a ditch to save the place. That's why Aruni becomes Uddhaka. We have all heard of the Uddhaka Mahamuni, but we have not heard about Aruni many times because Aruni was his name before. So that's the story of one disciple of Dhowya, Aruni or Uddhaka. Now the second one is Veda. Veda is given the assignment to plow the fields and put the seedlings and grow the crops. So Veda is doing it with full Shraddha, meaning with full devotion. And one day, the bullock car or bullock that he had for the plow, it got hurt. It couldn't pull the plow. What he did was, he took his body himself as the bullock and he started pulling the plow and he plowed the full field. He was still doing that. And as you know, as a human being, he will not have as much strength as a bullock or a goat. So he's getting tired and weak. Even if he gets weak or he's trying to fall down, he does not leave that job. He wants to complete that job. He keeps on doing it. Okay. And as he's doing it, even the evening came. He's falling down and still doing that. Then Dhowya comes again. Look, where is he? What happened to Veda? Where is he? So they all come in search of Veda. Then Guru Dhowya looks at him and looks at his devotion and the way that he has done. Appa, you have done very well. Thank you. And because of your devotion and what, you will learn all the Vedas and this just by this one mantra. And he gives him a mantra, and Veda becomes a highly knowledgeable scholar and a sage. That is the story of the second disciple. Now we will know the story of the third disciple. The third one is Upamanyu. His task was taking care of the cows, Gopalaka. And this Upamanyu had a habit of overeating, eating here and there, and everyone he was really fat. Dhowya recognized this, and then he said, look, you should not be eating so much. So you have to eat only the one that I have given you. So he is giving some food, the ration like that. And it so happened that he didn't lose any weight. He was still obese after several weeks or months. Then Guru Dhowya asked him, look, you have not lost any weight. What's going on? He says, oh, Guruji, I'm going to the neighbors asking for bhiksha. Bhavati bhikshandehi. As they give the food, I eat it. Then Dhowya says, no, you have to bring it here to me, and whatever we give you, you should take. Whatever I give you, you should take. So he forbids that. Then several weeks pass. He's still same weight. Then Dhowya asks, look, what's going on? What are you eating now? He says, look, after the cows, the babies of the cows have drank the milk of the mother, I go and take the portion of the milk and I'm drinking them. Dhowya says, no, it's cheating and you cannot do that. Now, he is at a loss. He doesn't have any food to ask for outside. He cannot get the milk. He doesn't get the food anywhere else. And the ration that they are giving is so little. So he's losing weight. Dhowya is appreciating all this and noticing all this. And one day, Upamanyu became so hungry, he wanted to drink milk. He couldn't get the milk anywhere. So what he did was, he was brushing across, and in Kannada we call yakadagida. I don't know what it's called. It's called in English. It's a kind of a small leaf where you tear the leaf, some kind of a ooze or a sap comes out, white sap, it looks like milk. And some of you may know the South Indians use this. In Ratha Saptami Day, I believe that when you do the oil bath, you take those leaves on head, shoulder, and foot, and all those places, and then you take the bath. That is the same leaf. Yakadagida. Then when he walked through, then he saw the sap or the milky ooze that was coming out. He said, okay, I will drink it. And then he started tearing the leaves and drinking the white sap, thinking it's milk. But it's poisonous. Because it is such a great poison, he lost his eyesight. Now he is lost. He cannot come home or to the ashram, to the back to sage's place. Okay. Then what happens? Dhowya comes and look, this guy did not come back. What happened? So he started searching for him and going into the fields, asking, Upamanyu, are you here? Where are you? Where are you? and he had fallen down into a dry well. Then he says, so what are you doing in the dry well? Then he tells the story of what has happened. Then Dhaumya recognized him and then said, okay, you have adhered to the rules that we have established. You have shown Guru Bhakti, and so I will bless you. And he gave him the full Vedas thing to him. So that's how Dhaumya is famous. So Upamanyu became a great sage. Upamanyu's disciple was Uddhaka, and then they all did the Sarpayagam later in the Janmejaya place. That's the story of Dhaumya Rishi. Now we will continue with it. Like this, there are many, many stories that Bruhadashwa says, and she stays there maybe about a year and a half or so with Pandavas. And then he says, look, it is time for me to go. Now I will go, and soon Narada Maharshi will come, and also Lomasha will come, and they will bring you good news. Dharmaya boasts to them and says, okay, thank you. Thanks for all the stories you have said, and you have helped us a lot, and all those things. And he gives him a good send-off. And the next day, Sage Narada walks. Of course, Dharmaraya, as usual, he welcomes Sage Narada. And Narada asks, how are you doing and how things are, and all kinds of Uhaya Kushlopari they inquire. And then Narada is giving some advice, at which time Dharmaraya asks him, look, Tirtha Yatra, when we do Tirtha Yatra, going to the Punya Kshetras, what do we gain? And how should we do all those things? Then Narada replies, you know, young man, your Ajja, your grandfather, that is Bhishma, asked exactly the same question to sage Pulastya. As many of you may know, sage Pulastya is the Manasaputra of Brahma, one of the first sages, great sage. And he tells the story of Pulastya also. It's a nice story, so because it's a side story, even though it's a side story, I'm going to narrate it because it's a rare story and it's a nice story. Sage Pulastya is walking around the field, all over the world he's walking. And he is visible only to certain people. He is not seen by everybody. Even if he walks in front of you, you will not be able to recognize him. He will be seen only by those who have done real punya. That's how Narada says, look, your Bhishma, he had done such a great things. So Bhishma could see the sage. And Bhishma asked Pulastya the same question. That is, Tirthayatra mode. What do we get by doing Tirthayatra? Then Pulastya says, we'll see what Pulastya says, and he narrates down the line. We'll talk about it. Now we'll divert a little bit about sage Pulastya's story. One day it so happens, Brahma and Saraswati, they are chatting. Saraswati tells Brahma, you don't love me anymore. When a wife says to a husband, you don't love me anymore, there is going to be a problem. Then Brahma said, what did I do? What happened? Look, there is a name for all the goddesses. Ganga is there. Ganga river. So you created Ganga river. Only because of you it came out. So for my name, there should be a river. Brahma says, looking at the whole thing, look, I only do what is nature or the destiny has to do. The things have to happen. And you cannot become a river. You cannot have a name of a river. I'm sorry. Then she gets upset. She gets angry. Then requests Brahma again. Brahma says, no, I cannot do it. Because that's not the rule that has established by Mahavishnu to me, so I cannot do that. So Saraswati gets upset and goes to the forest to say, look, if you don't give me the river, I will go and ask Mahavishnu himself. So I will do the penance to Lord Mahavishnu. So she goes to the woods or forest and starts doing penance with deep system. Right at this time, sage Pulastya, walking around, comes and looks at Saraswati and bows to Goddess Saraswati and says, Mom, I'm here. Please bless me. Saraswati is in deep, penance. She doesn't recognize. Pulastya asked several times, please bless me. She didn't, because she didn't wake up. So Pulastya, for whatever the reason it comes out, he says or curses to his mom, Saraswati, saying, look, whatever you are praying for, let it not be successful. As she said the word, let it not be successful, Saraswati wakes up from the penance and says, look, what? You are giving me a curse like this? You are telling me like this? This is like demons doing it, not a sajjana, not a Brahmin. So let your children or dynasty become the demons. Then Pulastya says, look, I'm sorry, something came and it came out of my mouth. It was not with my own volition, and please excuse me. Saraswati recognizes it and says, look, all right, I will let it pass one generation for you. And in the next generation, you will have demons. Mom, if a whole becomes demons, how my name is going to thrive later with good names? Then Saraswati says, there will be one good person who comes there in that dynasty, and he is going to spread your good name. That's how later Pulastya gets a son by name Vaishravas, and Vaishravas marries a demon by name Kaikasi, and their children are Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shurpanaka, and Vibhishana. As the goddess Saraswati said, Vibhishana is the Satvika person. He carries the whole dynasty there further. So the moral is, if the wife says to you, you don't love me anymore, there will be Ramayana. That's my editorial joke, that's all. Okay. Of course, not in Mahabharata, in the real story. And then actually, I will complete the story on the other end. What happens is, Lord Mahavishnu comes to Saraswati after her penance, and Saraswati asks, look, what is this? And I need to have a name by name, a river by my name. Then Mahavishnu says, look, I can alter some of the things, but I cannot alter the things. You have to flow like a Gupta Gamini, meaning underwater current. So Saraswati is not seen outside. It's always under the currents or under the earth. And it is said that, I think it is in Prayag, I believe, Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, all the Saraswati 3 rivers go there, and that's why it's Prayag called. That's how the story. That's the story on that end. Now, sage Pulastya is talking to Bhishma, because Bhishma has asked him, why do we do Tirtha Yatra? What should be done? How are all those things? Mahabharata describes this page about 60, 70 pages. It's hard for me to even grasp and even present this to you. I will tell some salient points of how Tirtha Yatra should be done and what is its Mahatva. And Pulastya tells to Bhishma, should have a good Indriya Nigraha. You should be truthful and you should be happy. You should not be unhappy and cursing others and doing the Tirtha Yatra. It doesn't help. Okay. And when you go for Tirtha Yatra, you should be healthy. Not when you are sick and not when you are old. Because it is not for you. If you are sick or if you are old, that's not fair because you have to go through so much of struggles. Okay. You have to go through so much of obstacles to go to Punya Kshetras because they're all far away and remote and food and others are not available. Okay. So now what we do? Naturally, as you have seen, as many of you seen, if you go to Punya Kshetras or Tirtha Kshetras, you see only the retired people. And people come in cars, planes, trains, and all kinds of convenience. And when you go, you always want to go and stay in the luxury hotel with air conditioning or heating and all those things. The food should be really first class food. And also when you go there, in the neighboring place, you will be looking for any resort areas to go and stay. But Pulastya says, look, when you go there to Punya Kshetras, you should be fully dedicated and go and stay with the local people. And when you travel, you should adjust to the environment, not just what you do in your own home or in your village or town. For example, say in the village or town, you are taking every day bath either in the canal or river or a well water, you are taking that to the village, right? But when you are going by train or bus, you cannot be asking for the well water, you go to the city, right? So you have to use the tap water, so you have to adjust to that. And also when you are traveling in the train or in the bus, if your next person is somewhat dirty or not of the same caste, you cannot say get out, right? You have to adjust to all those things. When you go to the kshetras, you should know the Sthala Mahatmya, meaning the story of the local, area and how that all came about, what came about, who did this, what did this, and all those things. All those things they should do. And those people who cannot do with, because of travel, because of the age or sickness or what, they can do the Tirtha Yatra at home. This is what Pulastya is saying. Meaning, you do the seva to your parents and God and the local people and help the people. And that itself is Tirtha Yatra and you get the same kind of phala that you get. Okay. Like this, he keeps on telling many, many stories about that. And when you go there, you should not have any negative thoughts. You should not have any anger. And the truth should be there all the time. That's how you get the Punya Phala Kshetra. This is what Pulastya had told Bhishma. I'm telling you only in a nutshell, it's about 60, 70 pages. Then Narada says, look, you have to do Tirtha Yatra. Now, sage Lomasha will come and then he will bring you very good news and he will accompany you to do all the Tirtha Kshetra. And then Narada leaves. As soon as he leaves, as you remember, now we have kept sage Lomasha in the holding pattern in the sky for the last 5 years, weeks or so, because we told the story about Arjuna and how it happened in heaven and Indra instructed or gave guidance to sage Lomasha to go and tell Pandavas that Arjuna is doing well, he has learned all those things and tell them, and you take them for Tirtha Yatra. Indra has given the instruction to them. So now Lomasha is coming down now. Now Lomasha appeared there. Now, as they came in, as Lomasha came in, Dharmaraya welcomed him. And after a while, Dharmaraya asks one question to Lomasha, which he hadn't asked anybody any time before. Because, these kind of questions could be asked only to with an outsider or a special person or with whom you greatly respect or a sage or a monk or guru or something. Dharmaraya says, look, sage Lomasha, I don't think I'm a bad man. I don't think I'm a bad person. I do believe that I'm, even though I'm not the excellent person, I do think that at least I'm above average person. I do only the good things. I have never wished anything bad to anybody. I have not done any wrong things. And I have said always the truth. I have never cheated. And look at me, what has happened to me. I have lost everything by adharmis, by the persons who are really cruel. And look, I'm here for not just weeks, months, 13 years I have to spend here. Is that the right thing? Look at those guys, Kauravas. They always cheat, they always lie, they always try to hurt people. They are giving problems to citizens. And look how they are. They are enjoying life. They are giving all kinds of things. Whereas I am here, I'm suffering, and I'm such a good person. What's happening? Who is that? It makes you scratch your head, isn't it? Then Sage Lomasha says, look, Dharamraya, I understand and I feel your pain. You have to realize that the cause and effect does not happen immediately. The persons who are bad, their papi koda, or the sin, or the pot should be full. The sin should be full of the pot. That's when they get the effect. For some people, it may be weeks, some people it may be months, some people it may be this 10 years from now, for some people it's the next janma. Similarly, the good things. You cannot measure it. But remember this, whatever you see and what you are doing, dharma and what have you, dharma will always win. The truth will always win. It has never happened before like this before. So you have that kind of a stability of mind and do pursue on truth and justice way. Dharmaya understands. Then he asked some other questions about Tirtha Yatra and how we should go and all those things. Lomasha says, look, this is the way we should go. And you cannot take all these people who are here with you, the big parivara, because when you go, it is very difficult to go to different places. And it's very difficult for people to climb, walk, and all those things. So you have to send all of these people home. Then Dharmaraya comes to all the rishis and other people who have come from the city. Those who have come from the city, they will come and say, look, we want to stay here. But Dharmaraya says, look, please don't. It becomes very difficult and very hard for you and me, and it will be very difficult at all. So what you do is you go back to Hastinavati. My Dodapa, my great father, he's going to take care of you. And for any reason, if he doesn't, he can go to Drupada's place and he can take care of you. And you go there and do it. So about 80% of the people who had come from the city, they all go back to Hastinavati. And when Dhritarashtra sees them, he greets them well and then brings them back. He says, look, we may think Dhritarashtra is a bad person at this time, but Dhritarashtra has two sides. When he is with his children, Duryodhana and other, he becomes bad because he wants to listen to his son because of the Putra Vyama. When he is not there around, when Vidura and Sanjay are there, he becomes a good person. So now, Dhritarashtra accepts all those people into Hastinavati. Now, there are some who were already in the past. They want to go with them and say, look, if this is the only opportunity we got, if you are here, you can give us the protection to go and you can take us. So we'll come with you. Some of them, Dharmaraya accepted it and then, okay, we can go on further. Okay. Now, I think it is time now. So we will stop here for the day and entertain any questions. I will tell Mangala and then we can start the questions and we will continue the story next week. Namaskar. Swasti prajabhyah paripalantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaah गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांतिः हरिः ओम सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम
Har Bhagavapi, yes, after
नमस्कारम